right? And so one of the things I wanna talk about, just to give you an idea of what a market is like, listen to this. The dollar is down 97% from 1935. The dollar bill is down 97%. Right? The dollar is down 97% from 1935. So as of right now, the dollar now will only make a 3 cents of what it did in 1935. It now brings us to why you need to be investing. Right? And so this is why we love the stock market. Because even if the dollar is down 97% from 1935, check this out. Your money in the stock market, that same dollar in the stock market could be up 18,000%. Why? Because the stock market bullies inflation. No other asset class bullies inflation like the stock market. No. Some people say real estate does. No other asset class beats up on inflation like the stock market. I'm not saying real estate is not a good asset class. I've never said that. But nothing moves in price like the stock market. Now, Bitcoin does, but we can't look at it over. I mean, crypto does. We can't look at it over. It doesn't have enough data. You know, crypto is now actually moving amazing. But we can't look, you know, we don't have like 100 years worth of experience on it. You know what I'm saying? So crypto is definitely moving at a rapid rate. But when we talking about bonds, gold, fixed assets, real estate, alternative investments, and stocks, no other asset class beats up on inflation like the stock market does. Right? And so the futures market, that's still into the stock market, brother. Right? Still a part of the market. Right? And so what we got to understand that is for the people we talking to, right? Yeah, the stock market bullies inflation. That's a fact. And so we have to and we know that these times come. Right? So let's ask ourselves this question. I asked the question in the beginning. I asked, like, how many people are new into investing? And the reason why I asked that question is because with so much hype about, you know, investing this, investing that, investing this, investing that, as a new investor or somebody who's getting in the game, you may kind of be like, yo, Trap, like, I don't know where to start. You haven't developed emotionally yet. Like, I'm super developed emotionally to the market. Like, the market doesn't even faze me. Whether it's up or down, I'm pretty much unfazed. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm happy at the fact knowing my money is just always working for me. I'm unfazed. But a lot of people haven't emotionally developed that area yet. I've been investing for 2 years for sure. So you're emotionally developed. And so because you aren't emotionally developed yet in the market, now the market and the news oftentimes dictate how you feel. Right? The market and the news oftentimes dictate how you feel. So I want you to understand something, right? You gotta develop strong sellers discipline. One of the reasons why people don't have strong sellers discipline is because they aren't investing in business based on the information they have about the business. Most people who are new to investing are investing based on what they heard. Even when you say, all right, you got to think long term. So strong seller discipline is this. When something isn't going right, you sell. I did a podcast today, and it was like, yo, I lost $4. I sold. The other queen was like, yo, I lost $30. I sold. They haven't developed yet. One of the things that helped me was because I came from the streets. I'm not going to lie. So when people always ask me, Trap, how did you get that type? Like, yo, I came from the street. Like, I understood that losses came with the game. So I was okay with it, right? For people who are new to investing, you'll get on the market and you'll see the TV say something like, the market is down 600 points. In your mind, Lord, I done lost a whole bunch of money. Not even knowing that that's like 1.2%. But because I come from that, I understood that losses came with the game. So I never tripped about that. My goal is to help people build up their seller discipline. It's to help you say that my presence isn't needed if there isn't a compelling opportunity for me to buy a business, right? If there isn't a compelling investment opportunity, I'm good with staying on the sideline. Most people will fail at investing because they lack doing research. And so because they won't do the research, they react based on what the market is saying instead of the data that the market presented. It's because the idea now is to educate us on how to have seller discipline in down markets. When you understand what to look for in business. So I'm going to give you a little gem tonight, right? I'm going to give you a little gem tonight on some stuff that I want y'all to look for. Now, I'm going to be going real in-depth on this inside the boot camp. But I'm going to give y'all a dope little gem on. So one of the things is, inside of these type of markets, you want to look for companies that can raise their prices as the cost of material and supplies increase. Some people said Target, Walmart. That's cool. But let's go a little deeper. Let's look at food growers. Let's look at farmland. Let's look at food processors. Let's look at shippers, storages. So I want us to understand that fundamental approach about that. And then we create an economic forecast, right? So in creating an economic forecast, I want us to think about a couple of things. Like, so in 2021, what drove 2021? You know, the pandemic drove 2021. Supply chain shortages drove 2021. And labor shortages drove 2021. So we asked ourselves, going into 2022, what are some of the things that switched about that? And we knew that, the pandemic did it. So going into 2022, we know some of those things still exist. Even though the pandemic is a thing, right? It comes in waves, right? But we still know that inflation is still a thing, right? Inflation is still up 7%. This is crazy. So this is going to always cause uncertainty. Anytime there's uncertainty in the market, people can panic. People will, act a certain way, right? Labor shortages is still a thing. Why do you see that? Because you see wages going up, but you see people still not getting jobs. People not going to get jobs. People not going to work. Why is this happening? Well, because the pandemic is still a thing. Some people don't want to be around people like that. This is still a thing, right? But then we also see, because there's a shortage in labor, there's also other shortages that are taking place. Supply chain issues happening. And so these are some of the things now that are causing the economy to be uncertain, right? And so because the economy is uncertain, this now is a natural reflection for the stock market. And so if we understand that about the market, if we understand that the economy and the stock market aren't brother and sister, but they on the same family tree, now we can start looking at the economy. So we go back to that, what I said at the beginning. If you know on the first and the third checks come out, people going to be trapping. The fees going to be out. The people going to be moving. Well, you understand economics. Oh, the Fed is printing money? Cool. We can push product. We can give stuff out on credit. Or the Fed printing money, the bank won't give you stuff on credit. Why? The Fed is printing money. If the Fed is printing money, the bank gonna lend money. The Fed not printing money, equivalent to checks not being out. If checks not out, nope, Now we in a drought. When the Fed says we're gonna stop printing money, this causes a chain reaction in the market. The chain reaction is this. If the Fed stops printing money, this is called quantitative tightening. That means they turn the money supply off, right? So the Fed was buying $120 billion a month worth of bonds, right? So here's what happens. When the Fed buys bonds, the Fed puts $120 billion of cash into the economy. So that cash that they put into the economy is now money that people get to spend. Right? It's now money that people get to do a lot of stuff with. Right? When the Fed says, no, we not doing that no more, even though they haven't stopped, the idea, they haven't stopped yet. It's not 30 million just yet. They haven't stopped yet. They still haven't stopped. That's the thing right now. They said they was going to cut it. That's what you heard the term tapering. Right? Tapering mean they was going to cut it off. They still pumping up, but they said, yo, we gonna cut it to 30 million. Just the idea of the Fed saying we gonna cut the money supply off causes the market to go, whoa, the Connect not putting the work on the street no more. What? Shut everything down. Exactly. They getting you ready, right? So that's the equivalent to, and that's why I make it make sense to me. It's equivalent to me, my Connect saying, yo, I'm about to slow you down. You hot right now. What you mean I'm hot right now? Man, you better keep sending that. Man, I'm not sending that to you no more. You hot right now. I'm cutting you off for a second. What you mean you about to cut me off, man? Stop playing with me. Don't play with me, boy. You better send that. You know, that's the equivalent to the Connect saying, I'm about to cut it, I'm about to shut it down, I'm about to cut your water off. Boy, stop playing with me. You playing with my money. It's the equivalent to paid in full. I'm out, baby. I ain't got a shot. I can see with one. I'm out, baby. I almost lost my life. And I'm like, bro, you get shot every day, bro. Pull your skirt up. You get shot every day. What you talking about? Feel like, nah. I'm out, baby. I'm out, baby. So that's what happens. So that's the equivalent to the Fed saying we're going to stop printing money. So if the Fed said they're going to stop printing money, then you start to see people in the economy react. But it's not us, because the truth of the matter is, here's the truth of the matter. That everyday people walking around the world do not give a care about the Fed printing money or not printing money because they don't know. You feel me? The everyday person that's walking around in society has the slightest idea about what the Fed quantitative tightening is. But it matters to the people in the market because they understand if the Fed stop printing money, people not going to come to work. Why are people not going to come to work? Because people want to hold on to their money. People want to hold on to what they have, and then jobs, because the Fed stop printing money, people on job, now we can't pay that money. We can't pay the high wages. We can't pay this. We can't pay that. People got to get laid off. All of this stuff has to happen now. Because the reason why the wages was going up, the reason why housing, the reason why so many things have been going up, parabolic, meaning straight up, is because the Fed printing so much money. Once they stop printing money, things now have to adjust. I can't pay you $18. I can give you 12. Give me 12. Man, I'm about to do that for no $12. You trip. We already got labor shortages. We already got certain things that's going on. Right? And so now if the Fed stop printing money, let's talk about this now. If the Fed stop printing money, now, even though banks are going to lend money, it's now going to be real stringent for you to get that money. And so now that happens. So here's why the correlation with that comes. Here's why this correlation comes. This is why the Fed now also has to do rate hikes. Right? The Fed has to do rate hikes. Why do they have to do rate hikes? Well, because they've printed so much money, it's going to cost a little bit more for them to get the loans. Because they have been pumping so much money into the economy, right? That's why inflation went up. When they stop pumping, the Fed also has to keep on raising interest rates up. Why? They got to keep raising interest rates up to try to stabilize inflation. Right? So if they keep raising interest rates up, the interest rates is what it costs to spend, what it costs to purchase stuff. Right? If they keep raising interest rates up, that's why you may hear them say, okay, we got to have 3 rate hikes. We got to have 4 rate hikes. Why you got to have the interest rate hikes? Because that helps to stabilize the inflation. If they stop printing money and you get rate hikes, here's what happens. The economy now starts to come down. But what happens when the economy comes down? You get market crashes. You get recessions. You get bear markets. But here's the dope part. These things are necessary. Market crashes, corrections, that's a fact. These things are necessary. Because just like a scale in the trap, the economy has to recalibrate. So if you're in a trap, if you're using a scale, you're using a scale, using a scale, using a scale, using a scale, using a scale. If you don't stop to recalibrate the scale, what's gonna happen is you're gonna either give somebody too much or not enough. You're gonna be either giving away too much or not giving enough. Either way it goes, that could get you hurt. Somebody, man, what you doing, bro? You trying to play me on my. You hope it's a couple grams, maybe an ounce, depending on how much you putting on a scale. You got to hit that terror button. You got to put the nickel on it. It got to recalibrate. The economy has to recalibrate. We got to put the economy on the scale. It got to recalibrate. Put the nickel on the thing, man. Make the number come up to the 0.5, man. Got to go get the nickel. It got to recalibrate. And so, that's right. On the traffic note, you got to hit the terror button. You feel me? See the blue light. You feel You see the blue light. You got to reset. You got to recalibrate the scale because you've been weighing. You've been putting it to work. The economy has to do the same thing. Recessions, corrections, bear markets, all of these things are important for us. Right? These things have to happen for us. Right? But here's why they are important. It is in these markets. It is in these economic conditions where the wealthy accelerate their wealth tenfold. I want you to think about something. I want you to really put this in your head right quick. If we having a job shortage, if we having labor shortage, if unemployment is getting higher and higher, how is it that the wealthy have increased their wealth by $5 trillion in the middle of a pandemic? Because they understand a game that you don't understand. Man, don't make me answer that question, Elder Designer. That was a good question. So I'm gonna answer this first question. I don't even think there is a such thing as a middle class. I think you're either poor or you're wealthy. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I think you're poor or you're, I don't think there's a middle class. That shit was made up to make people think there's some people better than other people. Right? You either poor or you don't. I think there's lower class and we all building our, and that's my goal. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Like, I feel like we all come from lower class, and I feel like we are now in a situation where we can build ourselves up. At this point, I feel like, and I didn't mean to say poor or wealthy, because it's more about classism than anything, because poor is a way to identify. They want you to identify. I think it's more about classism than anything, right? I think it's more about class. So we all come from, and I apologize for even saying poor. I meant to say lower class. There's no such thing as a middle class. You either lower class or you at this other class, right? And I feel that we are now in a situation, and we are now in a state where we are choosing to be one or the other. We are choosing to be one or the other. Right? You heard me say that before. Poor doesn't know what color. You know what I'm saying? The crazy part is, as the lower class, we often, as lower class, we often associate wealth with one color. That's why I've been doing the Black History Facts, the Black History Wealth Facts. That's why I've been posting them so much. Right? We're in a situation now, we have more people than ever speaking the language that we can hear. We have more people than ever who are reading the books, who are taking the mentorships and bringing the information back to us. A lot of the like even tonight, I could have did this as a whole masterclass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have did this as a masterclass, but for me, it's like, no, let me pour into my people. So I have so much knowledge in my head, I can give a lot of free information and still be like, yo, I got a boot camp, I got a this, I got a that, and you gonna get some shit in there that you ain't never even heard already. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we gotta make the conscious decision. We gotta make the conscious, because I don't never want nobody to look at me like, I feel like I made it. I ain't made it until I can free as many people as I can. Because the ultimate goal for me is freedom. Like, the ultimate goal for me is to taste freedom and then come back and be like, yo, you ain't never tasted this shit. This shit different. You know what I'm saying? And, well, Trap, how did you get there? Well, here's the steps that I followed to get there. Let me show you. This came with blood. This came with sweat. This came with tears. This came with losses. All that's a part of the journey, but you gotta want the end result so bad that you don't care about the process. Right? You gotta crave the end result so bad. What's the end result? Like, what does wealth look like to you? How do you identify that shit? You gotta crave that more than you crave quitting. You feel what I'm saying? And so again, so let's ask ourselves the question: how did the wealthy, with that economic forecast, like, let's look at the economic forecast. Pandemic, coronavirus, economic growth is not growing the way it should grow. We're looking at supply chain issues, food shortages. They even had a water shortage thing they was pushing at some point in time. Wages going up. Anytime you see wages going up that much, that means they got a lot of money in play, because you know America don't want to pay nobody. Right? You know America don't want to pay nobody. So anytime they increasing wages like that, that's telling you people not going to work. We have all these things going on. Price of oil about to hit $100, $110. Why? Because if we go to war, this is what I told my trappers. I said, listen, this is not a long-term buy and hold. But if you looking at a way to do some things, if anytime they start talking about war, get you something that's dealing with oil. Why should you get stuff dealing with oil when they come up talking about war? Because nobody wants to ship oil while they got a war going on. That's going to make oil prices go up. Oil prices went from $60 to $85, $90. I'm thinking it's going to hit $100, $115. I may be wrong. I may be right. I know Friday I made like $3,600 off of some oil stuff I picked up. It was short. Right? That's right. ExxonMobil. Right? ExxonMobil is, when you look at energy has been one of the best performing stocks. You know what I'm saying? Energy has been one of the best performing stocks. The best performing sector last year was energy. But here's the thing. A year before that, 2 years before that, it was the worst performing stocks. Right? 2 years ago, energy was the worst performing stock. Right? And so once you start understanding how the economy works, and you start understanding what moves, what doesn't move, once you start understanding certain things, you can now like play the game. And I'm gonna be real with you. Building wealth is a skill set. Building wealth is a skill set. And that skill set is gonna require information. It's going to require execution. It's going to require planning and your ability to adjust. Information, execution, planning, and your ability to adjust. Information, execution, planning, and your ability to adjust. If you can understand these things, you can build wealth. If you're not wealthy within the next 5 years, I'm going to keep it real with you. It's your fault. So if you don't see America going out of business within the next 20 to 25 years, will they have extreme changes? 100%. But what do we say? The fifth rule of building wealth is your ability to adjust. Your ability to adjust, right? So if we don't see America going out of business in the next 20 to 25 years, why not play the game of America? You feel me? If you don't see America going out of business over the next 20 to 25 years, why not just play the game of America? How do a country go out of business? Ask Venezuela. Hyperinflation. Yeah, my phone did something crazy just now, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I saw it happening. I guess I'm giving too much game. Here's something important for us to learn. Think about this. Your ability to adjust is so important. So right now, I am bullish on the fintech industry. So fintech is financial technology. I am bullish on that industry, even though it's taking a beating right now. Because the one thing that I do see is the way we use money is changing. Cash App, PayPal, Square, Venmo, Affirm, Buy Now, Pay Later, Wisdom Tree, Klarna, Stripe, Green Dot, Coinbase, Robinhood. All of these are PayPal. All of these are fintech companies. That is showing us the way that Apple Pay. Apple is now becoming a big player in fintech, which now is going to make me more bullish on Apple. And everybody know, like, I wasn't crazy about Apple. I'm like, yep, it's a good company. You know, it's cool. Like, it's the number one, you know, it's the $3 trillion market cap. But because they done went heavy into fintech, I done got real bullish on them. Bill.com say, hey, don't be listen, that was my sleeper. Don't be putting people on Bill.com. You had to be in a fintech masterclass to get on that, man. Chill. Don't do that. You heard me? That was my sleeper. Chill. Don't be putting everybody on that. You heard me? Chill. What he doing? He tripping. You heard me? Your ability to adjust is seeing that the way that banks are moving, seeing that there's a transition in how we do business, seeing that there's a transition happening in America. The dope part about that is, so people be on me now like, Trap, I thought you said fintech. Well, all right, it's so what if it's taking a little beating right now? Okay, cool. Anything that I do, when I say something, like, how long does it take for something to transition? It may take 2 years, 3 years, right? But it's an industry that we cannot deny. You did tell us that in the fintech. Yeah. You can't be putting that out there, right? You can't be putting that out there. Tony, I'm not answering that question for you again, Tony. I answered that question for you last week. But those are some of the things that, your ability to adjust is important, because the thing and I asked y'all this question. I said, do you see the business of America? Do you see America going out of business in the next 20 to 25 years? Y'all said no, right? That's cool. That's fact. Fintech is in the molding phase. They're still trying some digital payment, yep. But here's what we do know. This is not the same America from 10 years ago, right? Social media was a shift in the world, right? Social media created a huge shift in the world. Don't think that the metaverse won't cause a huge shift in the world. Think about what social media was at. I think about social media where I was at in 2007 when I came home to now being in 2022. I came home in 2007. Look at where Facebook is at and social media as a whole. Look how far we've come from MySpace to now. Right? Look how far we've come from MySpace to now. Think about how far we'll be in the next 5 to 8 years in that fintech industry because we are doing so much. So for me, yep, you may be like, all right, well, fintech taking a beat right now. Well, what happens in 3 years when fintech has made more billionaires than anybody? You like, damn, Trap told me about that shit in 2021. It's 2024. Damn, he told me he was switching to 50% of that. I never make my investments off of, and here's a gem for everybody. Never make your investment based off what it's doing now, but based it off what it can do and the profits it can produce in the future. Now, the only way you know what kind of profits it can produce in the future, you got to be a trap master.